Hello and welcome to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show. I am your host, Christine Innes. Super excited to have this beautiful woman, Paula, join me today. And we're really going to talk about how this, the whole change in the world right now, obviously with the coronavirus and obviously impact with the business, but also Paula works in travel and she's the co-founder of Travel with Intention, which when we connected, I absolutely loved because I love the concept behind it. And I really feel that, with all of the changes coming through now in the world, that this is really going to allow people to really think and obviously have that feeling about what they want to experience as such once they've actually, gone on holiday. So thank you so much, Paula, for joining me, lovely.
Oh, thanks for having me. So nice to be here.
Look, I'm really excited because the people who I've been talking to over the last couple of weeks, obviously, we've gone through such really challenging times. And I quickly spoke to you, obviously, mindset is a really big key player. But with your business, obviously, being in travel, it's been one of the hardest ones that's been affected. And I know, with your business, that's going to obviously be evolving. But if I talk about the positive changes in it, and we had a quick conversation before, is that it's obviously that impact, and we're seeing those changes all around the world. And I saw you prompted when we were talking before, like I saw those posts about Italy and and all the canals and how it's all crystal clear waters, and I think that's going to have such a major impact on people when they actually want to travel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when, people can really see firsthand the effects that humans have on the world, and, once they've got that in their mind, it's very, very hard to do things that are out of alignment with that. I really do believe that once this all comes to a close, people will be wanting to travel I guess with the intention of, creating a positive impact on the world and Mother Nature, rather than just taking from her. I feel like with everything that's happening at the moment, although it's extremely chaotic, I don't know about if you feel the same, but I feel like we're more connected than we ever have been before. And I just think that people will be coming together to work together in more of unison rather than just taking what people feel is theirs, and that comes down to the environment as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I so agree with that. I think we are, even though we're all like some are self-isolating, like, and all of that, but we are so connected and we are so blessed, obviously, with the technology that we have around the world. But I really want to take people back a little bit, and how you came up with the business, obviously Travel with Intention, because I know that most of us, especially when we go business, there's a story behind it, and it sets us apart from the rest. So do you want to share with all of the listeners and viewers and tell them what sort of set you on that pathway?
Yeah, so I guess it was probably most stories, there was a few little points that sort of got me to where I am today. I am from a corporate background. I used to work at one of the major banks, managing recruitment for Queensland. And I went on an overseas holiday to Canada. It was a working holiday, so I was there for a year. And I got back and I ended up getting another job in recruitment, which I got about 3 days into, and I just looked at my boss and just said, look, I just can't do this. Walked out the door, ripped off my stockings that were mandatory to wear on the train, and just was out of there. I was done with corporate life. Then as time went on, I had my son, who, for any parent, having children is extremely life-changing. And we moved out to the country, so we're not far away from you guys, just down the hill. And that was probably the biggest thing that led us to create Travel with Intention. I think completely sort of removing ourselves from the rat race and being able to come up with our own rules for our life was something that was incredibly empowering. And it was all because of intentions that we had set. It was plans that we had put in place that we thought were going to take a lot longer, but we ended up arriving to them a lot sooner than what we had thought. And a lot of our lessons and the time that we had spent setting those intentions was on holidays, and that's for both my husband and Steve and I. We really feel like travel has changed us in a way that it's allowed us to create this life, a life where we do have the freedom to be able to create our own rules and really truly live a life that is designed by us. We don't need to follow, I guess we're not being sort of told where to be, who to be, what to be, that sort of thing. We get to decide that for ourselves. And that was all through some pretty transformational travel experiences. So we really wanted to be able to share that with our clients, and the way that we do that is by having deeper conversations with our clients about what they need from their life at that point. And, because for a lot of people who are in full-time employment, it's sometimes the only time that they actually get, or the time in the space that they actually get to consider what they need. So really using that time in a way that can be transformational for them as well, so that hopefully they can take what they've learned from being on these trips and be able to bring it back to their real life and be able to start living with intention and not just traveling with intention.
So it's almost like even though we need a break, and go on a holiday, but it's what those learning experiences that you can get from a holiday that you can actually then bring back and incorporate in your own life, which is what I really love, because sometimes we just go on a holiday to have a break. And, that's all well and good. And I've done that multiple times. But the holidays where I've learned something and it's really allowed me to sort of either change direction in my life or to implement something that I've learned, because, if you go away, you sometimes realize how resilient you could be in certain situations, or, resourceful, how that luggage, misplaced, like all that sort of stuff. And you're like, oh, no, okay, well, you have your little freak out. But, it is those sort of things that happen that you can then implement back in your life. And that's what I really love what you do, because it really molds the holiday, but also the lifestyle. And, for me, what I'm teaching my clients is to look for that future self. And if you can have that holiday that's going to help you propel to that, and you get a break in between, I mean, incredible. There's nothing better than that.
Yeah, and I think that the really special thing about traveling and removing yourself from your bubble at home is that possibilities feel limitless. Like it feels, like what you were saying, when things happen to you that, like you lose your luggage, or you miss your train, or you miss your flight, or whatever, it doesn't, because possibilities are limitless and you're in this space of, you're sort of like creating your own adventure, I guess. It allows you to be able to move through with more of a flow. Whereas when you're in life, because you've got so many rules and everything imposed on you, when things happen to you that aren't desirable, it can have a much greater effect on you. So, I just think there's no other better way to be able to really explore the depths of who you are when you're in that mindset of like limitlessness, if that makes sense.
Oh, look, it makes perfect sense to me. And I think also too that when you step out of your comfort zone, you are so much more open to receive. When we are in this sort of, I always say to my clients, learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I think travel really does that to you, because you don't know what is going. You can only plan for so much. You don't know who you're going to encounter. You don't know, what experience they're going to bring to the holiday as well. I'm not the best flyer, And it was interesting. I went down and visited my girlfriends in Adelaide, and it's sort of like, oh well, I don't know what's going to happen. It was just a girls' weekend away, but the unknown was actually the most attractive part of the weekend away, because I'm like going, everything in my life is so planned, and I am look, if anyone who knows me, I'm a to-do list person. I tick things off and I have things scheduled, but just actually the unknown with it was actually really part of the excitement. And I think travel actually allows you to do that, because you don't have to be you can plan stuff, but it's the people, the interactions, those experiences that you'll have.
Yeah, and that's why, because you're really living in the moment, like you're really living in the present moment. So you're actually able to really appreciate what's before your eyes. Like, I always sort of say, you can go somewhere in Australia or like somewhere in your own backyard, and you'll look at a view which is just absolutely stunning, and you'll be like, oh yeah, it's a nice view. And then you'll go overseas and you'll be looking at the same view in another country, and you'll just be like, wow, this view is so incredible, what a beautiful special moment. And the difference is that in Australia, usually your mind is either thinking about the past or the future. So you're not fully in that moment really appreciating what's before your eyes. Whereas when you're overseas, you're in that moment. You're experiencing everything 100% as it actually is. So even doing that exercise when you're in real life can be really powerful. Just putting on those rose-colored glasses and making sure that you're actually in the moment and appreciating actually what is around you right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we need to have blinkers on sometimes. We need to just sort of like go, okay, what's here? I mean, obviously I'm a self-development junkie. I will admit to it, no problems. And one of the biggest things that, I think it's Bob Proctor, he goes, we need to just look 200 meters ahead. Like, we know the destination, but if we only look 200 meters ahead, then, that's all we're sort of focused on. And I believe that's what you are bringing out in, what you're doing with your business and helping people just look that 200 meters ahead, to slow down, appreciate, and really connect not only with yourself, but with the world. Because, honestly, that I was saying that one of the best holidays I remember as a kid is that we went on a houseboat and we got stuck on a sandbank. And we literally had our own little personal island. And it was, look, we couldn't go anywhere. So we were in that moment. We were there going, well, let's make the best of it, and, create what we can. And that's what, travel does. And this is why I really am glad that we connected, because I think this is what the world is really going to need, is that to have that intention, to have that be connected, I should say. I'm like stumbling over my words today. It's terrible. But, really be able to know what do they want to get out of it to really enhance their life.
Yeah. And it's really interesting, because a lot of the things that we're talking about that we absolutely love when we're overseas is actually what we're experiencing at the moment, or being in self-isolation, essentially, where we are stuck, and not stuck, but like we're stuck on your islands, when you're a kid, and the world's sort of like at this standstill, and we're able to connect with our loved ones, our family members. We're probably checking in on people more than we have in the past. Where I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm so much more in the present, not only with interactions with the people that I'm speaking with, but also with the way I'm feeling, like the way that's what's actually happening in my body, with everything that's going on as well. I'm not just sort of able to, how when you're really busy, it's really easy to sometimes just push that aside. You're like, I'll deal with that later. But at the moment, it's like, whew, okay, I'm dealing with this right now.
Yeah.
And although that can seem really challenging, because it is, it's actually a really beautiful thing as well, because only good can come out of that. Like when we can actually sit and let that energy flow through, rather than just like push it down and then wait for a big explosion to come out.
Look, you're talking my language, because I know all about explosions. Like that's, and literally that's how I ended up where I am. I had the huge explosion, and then all of a sudden it's sort of like changing my life pathway. And it's just why I love connecting, with, businesses such as yourself that, we've had either a small eruption or even a large one that's led us to this pathway, because it allows your passion then not only for the business, but you make it more connected to the people. And it's not just, a big corporation going, well, what's your check-in date? What's your check-out date? How many people? It's really taking that time to get to know them and what they want to experience and making it so personal. And I do feel that these times right now has allowed us to be more personally connected and to actually say, are you okay? And not just go, yeah, I'm fine, to actually go, you know what, at this present time, I'm feeling this, and just exactly what you just said. So I think it's a difficult, challenging, sort of confrontational sort of time, but it is also a time where we can really, I'm seeing so much more good that's coming out of it as well.
Totally. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think the most important thing for me at the moment, because I totally agree, there is so much positive stuff that's coming out of this, but the biggest trick is to be able to stay in your own energy. So making sure that, we've got quite a full house at the moment, because some of our agents and slash sister-in-law and their kids are actually, they got sent home from Cambodia, so that we've got them here, and Steve Stab is meant to go over to Cambodia. So he's here with us as well. So we've got a very full house, which is actually great. I love having other people around. But it means that I need to be even more, I have to put more emphasis on making sure that I'm taking the time to be able to reconnect with my own energy, and that I'm not absorbing the energy of the people around me, and also like the whole collective as well, which is, because it's quite heavy at the moment. And the more that you can stay in that energy and in that place where there is limitless possibilities, because there really is at the moment, like we have got so much time to be able to dream up so much, amazing, so many amazing things. We've got the time and the opportunity right now. But yes, it's all about just making sure that we're staying there and not getting caught up with all the chaos.
Yeah. I think that's really, really, it's super important for people, especially in any sort of, difficult time that we go through. And one thing that I found is that I find that I'm more resourceful, and like know my inner strengths more when I go through these difficult times. Protecting yourself, just, I know if you're in a house full of family, it's okay to have time out for yourself, and to know that, it is still, you need to look after yourself as much as you want to help other people. And perfect that you're in the travel, because I always say this all the time, you're sitting in the plane and the oxygen mask comes down, but they say put yours on first. So in this time we need to do that and look after yourselves and protect ourselves, do what we need to do, so then we can actually be in that best sort of mindset, that best sort of health, to help the others that may not be where we've been. You mentioned something just before about, and I really love, because we can go down a rabbit hole, and that rabbit hole, look, my mind sometimes just goes into complete overdrive, and I allow it. But then I always say, forgive myself, if I'm talking bad about myself or, doubts and all of that. But it is that time where we need to sort of pivot a little bit differently, think of all the different things that we can do to be able to change our business. Because it allows our creativity. When we actually connect to ourselves, our creativity actually starts to come into more abundance, and then you can start using that, to come up with, different ideas. And I saw a post that, we've got to remember, like, Apple started in a garage, like all this sort of stuff that, these are the times sometimes where great inventions are going to actually be created.
Yeah, for sure. And it was quite ironic, because there was a lot of discussions that I was having with a number of different people about changes that we were going to make in our business anyway. And then now we've got like got all this time to be able to actually put the work into it. So yeah, obviously our first priority has been just making sure that our clients are being looked after at the moment. But I mean, we're sort of getting to the tail end of that, and then I'm really looking forward to be able to like, I mean, what we were sort of talking about before is creating a product library where when people book through us, they know that they're booking with, you know, hotels that are socially like eco-friendly and that are socially responsible, that, you know, when they fly, they have options to be able to carbon offset their flights, that sort of thing. Also, you know, I really want to be able to give people information on who the traditional landowners are of the countries that they're visiting, so that they can really have the respect for the people that have walked on those lands, and, you know, what the cultures are. So really having that education piece as well. And then the other thing that we're looking at doing is sort of more transformational travel. So looking at doing self-led meditation journeys and itineraries as well. So really sort of bringing our product to life and having offerings where like people can come to us, they can have transformational experiences and also know that they're doing it in a way that is going to have a positive impact on the environment, the people that are on those lands, and obviously themselves.
Yeah. When we were chatting before, there's something that I wrote down actually, and then you said that we're shifting from me to we. And I love that so much, because, you know, we're getting out of the, you know, back in corporate days, it was like there was no I in team, you know, and I think that's really what we're starting to come to collectively as a community. And when I say community, it's not just where you live anymore, it's the whole entire world is starting to become this beautiful community where we're helping and supporting, you know, so many people everywhere. And with the wonderful world of technology that we've got, you know, we can do that in such a really responsible way. So I just want to say, like, thank you so much, because as I said, I really love what you're doing. I'm going to be signing up to do those meditation, self-led meditation retreats, because I love it. I meditate every day and I absolutely love it with it. As we sort of sign off and sort of, I know that we've given so much information today, but what would you say that obviously what you've seen in the last sort of even couple of weeks of, you know, the change within the industry, change within your business, but also change within yourself has been like some of the biggest things that's left a big impact on you?
Yeah, I think it does. It does come down to that we versus me mentality at the end of it. I think everyone's been, you know, and it's not our fault. It's just the way that society has gone. But everyone's sort of just been doing their own thing, and not being, you know, probably taking more than they need. They doing things for themselves and not really thinking about the impact that it's having on, you know, the environment and other people. And the biggest thing that I've sort of taken out of this last couple of weeks is that we all have a responsibility, and we don't need to be we don't need to wait to be told what to do. You know, everyone is equally responsible for creating a better place that we live in, and everyone can do that. Everyone has an equal amount of impact in that way. You don't need to be on social media sharing with everyone, you know, what you're doing. It could be at home. Like, you could be at home and just making sure that you're the ear to be able to listen to your family and friends through these times, and get them through these hard times. It might be that you know, you start recycling a little bit more effectively. But literally everyone has a responsibility in this, and it's something that they can do now. They don't need to wait to be told. So I would encourage people to step up this is our time to really take the lead in our own lives and take responsibility for doing our bit to make the world a better place.
Couldn't have said it better. And I completely agree with you that, you know, out of challenging times, that, you know, we all find our inner strengths, we all find, you know, how we can, you know, make certain changes. And don't wait to be asked, actually do it, and, you know, trust within yourself that you're making the right decision. So thank you so much for being here today, sharing about your business, but, you know, really where I guess the travel industry is going to go and how we can all, you know, really travel with that intention and create beautiful memories and experiences that's going to actually have an impact on our lives for the better. So thank you so much, Paula, for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure. And just, having this conversation is just a beautiful reminder that, again, everyone is in this together and we're all responsible for rising each other up as well. And this conversation has done that for me today. So I appreciate that.
Oh, no, thank you so much. It's like, I honestly, like, I feel so blessed that I get to do what I do and, you know, obviously meet and connect with incredible people that are really making an impact in the world, but, you know, really are following their passion in life. And, you know, I always say that, you know, from tragedy comes triumph, and, you know, we can learn and grow from it. And you can either be the victim or you can actually decide to actually make a change. So thank you so much again. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and watching this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show. I'm going to put all the links on how you can reach out to Paula. And honestly, if you're planning on with all of the crazy stuff that's happening in the world right now, and you really feel that you need to have a holiday, but actually make it intentional, you know, actually bring back something positive into your life, reach out to her because they're an incredible team and they'll be able to make all of those dreams come true for you. They'll put all of her details below where you can reach out. Thank you everyone for joining me today on this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show. Remember to live life to the fullest and with passion every single day. So love and light to you all.